It's Thursday night. You know what that means. It's time for Magic and Martinis. Please welcome your host, Scott Wells.
There we go. Cheers. We are here, all masked up. We are required to be wearing masks at this convention. Actually, throughout the whole hotel, whenever you come in, there is a sign that says that masks are required the whole time you're in here. So it doesn't matter if you're in the gaming tables, you're in the restaurant, you can only take them off if you're going to be eating or drinking. So all of the convention activities also will require us to be wearing masks too. So anyhow, I hope we got a few people who are in the room who can hear us and are joining us then right now. We got a few people who are here. We've got about 200 people at the convention. I'm holding this down so you can maybe hear a little bit better with the microphone that I have over to my side. Okay, there.
Daughters, both of them.
Who is that? Oh, Jeffrey. Yes, Jeffrey Allen is there. Glad you're right. Thank you very much, Jeffrey. Glad that you're here. And hello, John Custer. You're there from Michigan. Well, you see, we also got Harriet right there. She's from Michigan then, too. So she's joining us. Hey, Ray Anderson. Ray Anderson says hi.
And how old is she?
So can you hear us okay? I mean, is the microphone sounding better? Hopefully it's okay. And if you could pick up the microphone, you can actually, Trixie's here with us. So Trixie, have a few things
Hey, Ray.
to say.
And Jeffrey, where are you? You should have been here.
I guess, Ray, you got another thing, huh? You got but next year we're going to be having this in Austin.
That's right.
And Steve Bryan, yep, hello. Ken Dom says, hi, Harriet. Yeah, so.
Who are we talking to? Hi there, how you doing?
John Bundy. Oh, good, John, thank you.
Oh, it's a whole wonderful group.
Yeah, Ray Anderson says, yeah, I can hear. He said, I'm working. So.
All right, well.
Somebody's got to, right?
Yes, I mean, you got to realize that I worked this morning.
What were you doing this morning?
Oh, I was doing interviews for hiring. If anyone knows sound or lighting people that want to go on tour, I am looking especially for lighting people. First about a month, we have September and October in the U.S. and November is in Canada. So you have to have your vaccination and your passport. But if so, then let me know because it's a bus and truck tour and it's lots of fun.
What kind of experience do they have to have for that?
They have to know how to light. They have to know moving lights. They have to.
Like intelligent lighting, kind of.
Oh yeah, we do a lot of intelligent lighting. We do a lot of source fours. We have to do we do a lot of washes. So we do, and they have to be able to change lighting cues quickly because it's magic. And things can change because we've gone into a venue that's not the same.
I'll take a vodka martini.
Yes.
And, yeah, and no vermouth.
Yes. Okay, sure. Excuse me just a second. I have to take care of drinks.
That's okay. So that was Gay Blackstone, obviously over there with Harriet next door. And Harriet, do you want to say hello?
I am Harriet. Oh, wait a minute. I'm on Gay's purse.
Yeah.
I don't want to spill my drink. Okay. Hi, guys. So glad to see you. Happy to be here. Wish you were here too. The first session was incredible. It was really fabulous. And at the end, Paul Stone talked about
with no
the Palladium tribute for Roy and Michael. We're there.
You were there?
We were there.
That was 2008. Yes.
And there were like 2,500 people in the audience or
and
something?
we were way up high in the balcony.
They were in the 2496 seats.
Wow. Wow.
And it was, we had never been in the Palladium. My husband was just in heaven be there. And I remember looking way down and I think seeing Jeff Hobson and Thompson. It was incredible.
Now, I was wondering, did they have a party afterwards, like a cast party?
We weren't invited. Seemed like
did you go gay?
Yes.
And?
Were you invited? Yes.
I figured she was there.
Well, hold the microphone so everybody can hear them.
Okay.
Yeah, which is why I went to say hello to Lynette a while ago, because I have not seen Lynette.
Lynette,
You don't know, she was a witch. She was like Siegfried for about 50 years, and South Africa been a dancer for all this, and she also one who was not, I wouldn't state. So
yeah, Michael Mayo, I see that it is breaking up a little bit. I think it's just we kind of got a sketchy Wi-Fi here, but this is the best we can do in the bar at the time. Ellie Hitchcock says hi, by the way, to you guys.
Oh, hi there. How you doing? I hope you're doing well.
Yeah. And, but no, I'd heard someone say they had sold their home, and I didn't know who it was.
Well, it would be, okay, Siegfried had a couple of other homes. He had one on
in Vegas?
Here, he had one on Spanish Trails, and that he lived in a great deal of the time. And then there was another one, and then there was the compound. So I don't know if the compound has been sold yet, or just some of the individual pieces. I don't know.
Good answer.
Yes.
Now, Dick Olson actually is someone who is a Las Vegas native. So, Mike, and take the mic there. I want you to talk about for a minute about the house. You told me before about some people you.
Yeah, in 1971 and 72, I moved into a house which turned out to be about 10 houses down from the Siegfried and Roy complex. And so in the morning we'd get up and we would hear these loud animal noises, not quite sure what was going on. At the time, I didn't realize it was the Siegfried and Roy compound, but I've been by that many times, and it still looks just like it did 50 years ago, I guess, approximately. So anyway, it was wonderful growing up here and getting to see some of the shows and the people that were here.
But did you actually go into their?
Oh no, never did.
You didn't know them.
I didn't know them at the time, and in 1972 I moved away, so I wasn't there that long.
Right.
We had a beautiful 4-bedroom home, a 7-bedroom home,
and you partied a lot there too.
And we partied a lot. We had some great parties. We had an indoor pool and an outdoor pool and a motorcycle track, all on this acre of land that we had just down the street. It was a fabulous place.
So you said you moved away in 72?
Two, yeah.
We lived here from the beginning of 72.
Yep.
Yeah. We lived here from the beginning of 72 until early 74. And we lived on Cherokee. Okay. So we were the Desert Inn Golf Course was behind us.
Right.
Yeah. At that point. And then it was an interesting neighborhood. To our right was Cashman of Cashman Photography. To our left were the Prices that owned Caesar's Palace at that point. Bobby Mayhew was across the street. we didn't have to worry about security. It was it was a
Hi, Oscar.
well-watched neighborhood, yes. And one year for Christmas, Mrs. Price said, "Does anyone mind if I decorate the street for Christmas?" We all said, "Fine." So she had Caesars decorated and sent us
Wow.
all a bill.
Oh my gosh.
Surprise.
The memories that we have. Yes.
Now, why were you living in Vegas? Did you have a residency at one of the casinos?
Well, because we did the first full long-term show here, a show called, which we started in May of 72. It was downtown at the Fremont. It was Hocus Pocus, It's Magic, produced by Jimmy Dean Productions, but it was not Jimmy Dean as you think of it. It was Jimmy, one person, and magic show 7 days a week for months, and so we did that. We were here, and then we were working a lot at Caesars because we would do anything from, like with the Smothers Brothers, Harry would produce all the magic in the show, and he would then be in the show, but he would produce everything else in it.
Kind of like a variety show.
Well, yes. One year, door frame came Tom and Mothers. And then they came out, interested in people, and then they turned around backwards. And when they did, you had the Edwin Hawkins Singers, you had the Nat Brandwin Orchestra, you had and a couple of other performers come out, and then the Smothers Brothers turned around, and they were no longer the Smothers Brothers; they were two girls, and the Smothers Brothers came back through the door frame.
Oh,
and so Harry did that, plus then appeared in the show. So we were there a lot. We were also there. Harry's son was here working with Glenn Keller, Danny David, who's on the Red Candyman. He also did with Johnny Cash because he was the little boy on.
You were back up on one of the videos.
Yeah, I was on Candyman also.
Yeah.
But he did with Johnny Cash, a boy named Sue, and he was the little boy in that. So we were working here so much, and as long as we were working here, it was great living here. During the times we weren't working here, it was kind of like twiddly-dee, twiddly-dum at that point because it hadn't grown up. And at one point, I remember it was right after Christmas. We had not taken the Christmas tree down. It was like January 4th. And we suddenly got a call to do a fill-in date. So we left like January 4th, thinking, well, would be back like, 4 or 5 days later. Well, that changed. And when we came back the end of April, the Christmas tree was a little brittle.
Hadn't been watered properly, I guess.
Yeah, this sort of thing. So, so we used this. And then it got to be, because we were, this was only home base and we were traveling everywhere. This is, at that point, was not a great home base to leave for kids. So we moved back to Redlands where...
Yeah, look, he was from here. He went to the school system. So, I mean, look, here's a product of the Las Vegas school system.
So,
I graduated from Las Vegas High School.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The original school.
Las Vegas High School, yeah.
So then we went back into LA because also Harry Blackstone III was working a lot because he was part of the Mike Curb congregation. So, he was working everywhere. So we had to make sure that we had, the governess watching him as we were gone.
And how old was he at the time?
He was...
I'll take a governess too.
Excuse me. Yeah, but he thought he was. He started out working with him when he was 12, and he worked with the congregation from the age of... Because they also were doing the Glenn Campbell show on CBS. So he worked with them from about the age of 12 to about the age of 17. And so he was, he was working solid. And,
Oscar Munoz says, Gay is a great historian. I can't even remember my last name anymore.
That's true.
And John Pullum, by the way, says Jeffrey's got the best hand.
Half a day here.
Yeah.
But he's not in the dealer's room, so he has had to go outside. If you're in the dealer's room, we are 9 a.m. midnight. between the dealer's room and the other activities, of which you don't want to miss anything.
Right. A couple of questions I want to ask you while we're here right now. One is as a follow-up, and I think I've asked this before. When we had talked on the podcast, or actually I think on on one of the virtual happy hours, you had said that you had the longest magic show on.
We still hold the record for the longest running magic show in Broadway history.
But how does that compare with the years that Doug Henning was?
Because his wasn't a magic show. His was a scripted music show.
It was a musical.
It was a musical that had magic in it, but it was not a magic show.
Yes.
Ours was, and I say this lovingly, an old-fashioned magic show. It was just all magic and dancers and production numbers, but the whole show was magic. Where the magic show, there were
dancers and singers,
but maybe 6 or 7 magic pieces, and the rest of it was a scripted storyline.
I see.
We didn't have a script, and if we had, Harry wouldn't have stuck with it anyway. So the only scripted part of it was the opening segment that Charles Reynolds wrote, which opened the show about in every village and town in years gone past, the magic show, the circus would come to town. And so that's how the show opened. Though it was probably a 2-minute piece of scripted storyline.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'd say facetiously, Harry did have scripts for segments that he was doing, but it was not a scripted. It was not like it was not a storyline show. It didn't, from that standpoint, have the love interest go from beginning to end, or dragon come out to kill people, or things like that. Sometimes the dragon did, but not on purpose.
No, it was kind of an accident.
Yes.
The other question I've got,
and we were at the Majestic, which is at that point it was the main theater of the Schuberts, and it was also the largest theater at that point on Broadway, because the
is that actually on Broadway?
Yeah, it's
okay.
on Phantom of the Opera is what was playing at the time of the pandemic. Oh yeah, no, it's across the street from Sardi's, kind of at a diagonal.
Did you go to Sardi's a lot?
We went to Sardi's a lot, but more importantly than that, Jennifer Sardi, who was Vince Sardi's daughter, she would bring a box of vegetables over to Misty, our elephant, every night. So our elephant's dinner was catered by Sardi's for all those months. We couldn't afford to go there that often, but the elephant got it. And then directly across from us was can't remember the theater. It's a smaller theater. We had Barnum, the Glenn Close, and Jim Dale. So wonderful story, because one time we got this letter from Hal Prince, and he said, "I love elephants. Last night I was on 45th Street to go to the theater, and I saw this live elephant, and I was going in to see Barnum, and I thought, how perfect. I love elephants." He said, "I went in to see the show. It was a good show. At the end of the first act, 4 silk elephant legs went across the stage." He said, "I thought, it's intermission, second act, I'll see the elephant." Came back in, watched the second act. He said, still didn't see an elephant, walked back outside, and I saw this big, beautiful elephant climbing into the truck that said Blackstone Magic Show. Tomorrow night, I'm going to see the Blackstone Magic Show. I love elephants.
Great story. One other question I got before I get there, Mark Merchant, by the way, saying he'd worked with Harry on the Norway.
Yes, we didn't do too many cruises, but in the time I was saying, like in the 73, early 74, when we weren't working things in Vegas, they knew we were the Wednesday fill-ins on the Mike Douglas show, and we did some cruises to fill in at that point. So that was, and it was great fun, primarily in the islands, and Harry was already a big both snorkeler and diver. I learned to snorkel well after the first time that we went snorkeling, and I'm very myopic. I mean, with contact lenses, then I can see you. Otherwise, without my lenses, Trixie would even be a blur right here.
Yeah.
So Harry thought that the water to, make it fine for me. Well, I'm snorkeling along and suddenly start screaming through my snorkel tube because there is something following me, and the harder that I kick, fast.
Wow.
And finally, one of the instructors, I'm screaming, came over to me. A palm frond had caught in my fin, and it was going along with me.
It was keeping up at the same speed, obviously. The faster you kick, the faster it went.
So the next day, I got my own prescription mask.
You know who else is here is Jeffrey Allen and Harriet Jacobson. They're both the Marshall, Michigan American Museum of Magic.
Mark, you're saying, Trixie, you need to show your face more.
Hi, Mark. Miss you. But I think one of the highlights of going to the Abbott's convention was touring the museum.
It was.
Right? What does it say?
She's our museum ambassador.
The museum ambassador, Harriet Jacobson.
Take it off. Let me show it.
More than the treasure.
Hold on. But Jeffrey gave a tour along with Gay and her entire family. The highlight was hearing Gay's on this tour. Well, Dorsey did this, and this prop was this, and these were from the Blackstone show, and we didn't have any money, right? I love those.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, too, to have you there.
Oh, well, you did such a great job, and it was so wonderful. And also, people should know, if you're in the magic world, send a recipe.
Oh, yeah. Good, thank you. Yeah.
Go ahead. Okay, because Harriet is putting together a cookbook that will be sold there to raise money, but it will only have magic recipes. So I know all of you listening to this, it could be a cocktail recipe, your version of your favorite martini or cocktail, as well as food. We're not picky.
Right. We like you show her ID, we show mine.
But yes, Harriet then is the ambassador over there, and so she is also the one who's working on the cookbook. And if somebody wants to get in touch with you and give you a recipe, how can they get in contact with you? Hand her the microphone there.
Where's that QR code?
Well, I have a QR code, but send my email is Harriet, HARRIET .Jacobson, SON, @gmail.com. I think Scott's gonna put it in the talk there, in the chat. Anyhow, and then I will send you a form to fill out all the information. Okay, I know there are some chefs and cooks out there.
There we go.
You'll be
Put
joining
that
the
in
likes
the
of Houdini and others that we've already got for the museum cookbook.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
it'll be exciting.
What is Houdini's recipe?
Scott,
yes, that was
think
Houdini's
Scott-
bread and butter pudding. I've got a recipe. I've got a microphone.
oh, you got
Got
it.
my own microphone. I'm the host. I'm Hugh Hefner here
Wait,
tonight. You know.
A host has his own, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, half the microphone. That's
When you get your own show,
Or as Harry would say to people on stage,
Oh, wait.
especially women, would say, just speak into my chest.
speaking to, I like that.
We
I'll
are
remember
gonna
that.
have our
Speak to my
own
chest.
show. We're gonna have our own show.
Instead of
That's
my
right.
ID, I'll just give my PayPal account. You can send forward all gifts now.
You can have your own show. What?
Yes, on Abra TV. Go ahead and talk about this.
Gay and I have a show that's going to be on Abra TV that we're working on with Tim Wise. So this is something to look forward to in the future. And as Scott says, we'll each have our own mics then.
That's great. I was a correspondent for Abra.tv during the Abbott's Get Together.
That's
So I interviewed a lot of people.
Yeah, because Tim Wise wasn't there
Right,
at
yeah,
the time.
yeah.
Yes.
And that was fun.
Good.
So were those things that will be broadcast later, or were they broadcast live at the time? Or
Those are all pre-recorded, so they'll be
okay.
under the umbrella of Abbott.
So
Abbott's
all you
Get
need to
Together.
do is go to abra.tv.
Abba.tv, Abbott's Get Together, and you can start watching those interviews. Found a lot of persons. The general magician on to I found Dave Cressy and questions.
Yeah.
Talked with Greg Bordner about our view. What happened this time is epic. This Abbott's was one of the in my lifetime one of the best.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, incredible.
Again, our channel is channel 13 if you go to abra.tv.
And the American Museum of Magic is channel 3. We have channel 3.
There you go. Oops, just kind of cycling out here in just a second.
Something happened?
Yeah,
No,
there we go.
refresh.
We're back. Sorry.
We're back live.
So your channel again, you said,
American Museum of Magic is on channel 3 of Abra.tv.
and
Gay and Harriet are on channel 13
right,
on abra.tv.
for your jewelry.
No, not necessarily.
Okay,
It's
really?
It's called Behind the Mirror with Harriet and Gay.
So
and
what's that going to be about?
oh, you have to tune in because you never
You have to
quite
look behind the
sure.
mirror, Scott.
It's going to be a surprise.
Wow.
Okay,
100% magic,
You
too.
never know
okay.
what to expect.
What do you got there?
100% magic. Like that.
Keychain. Up.
What is that? That made it disappear. Was it magnetic?
There we go.
See,
100% magic. Yeah, it's a crystal ball. That's kind of cool.
Abra.tv.
Abra.tv.
Instead of like AOL.com.
I've got
it's
a,
Abra.tv.
One on my keychain.
That's cool.
Just a little thing from
The mic is all yours.
Cincinnati Card Company.
I have nothing to say.
Hey, Cameron. Long time no see. Hope you're doing well, my friend. A couple other things while we got people over here. I want Trixie to talk about the Houdini sign. This is really pretty darn exciting.
Yeah.
Honest, babe.
Okay. The historic event is going to take place on Thursday, September 2nd, in a little town deep in the heart of Texas, Kingsland, Texas. We have the first and only street in Texas named honoring Harry Houdini. It's called Houdini Way. And we're going to have a magical street signing unveiling in this. It's a very nice subdivision, but invites to Texas magicians have gone out, and we'll have some speakers and some messages.
We may have some exciting speakers.
Yes, we do. Yep. Followed by a nice little luncheon in celebration of this.
The Kingsland, Texas is near Burnett, Texas, which you don't know where that is either.
It's 72 miles northwest of Austin.
Of Austin, Texas.
Right.
So it's up in the beautiful hill country.
On Lake LBJ.
And after the unveiling of the street sign, then we will be retiring over to Chateau de Mugy, which is Trixie's place. And we will then, I'll tell you guys now, since you're watching this, no one else knows this, but the free souvenirs that everybody's going to be receiving, they're going to get you want to tell them a koozie?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we got, a few people watching here, but I mean, that's encouraging people to come. You get a special Houdini celebratory koozie marking the occasion that will only be available there if you attend.
But even better, a nice lunch.
And is the champagne celebration
yes,
right there. Hopefully it's going to be wonderful there in this time of the year. Typically it is hot. That's true, but at least we shouldn't be having rain. Usually the hurricanes are further on down south, down there. So I hope that if you're coming to the TAOM, come a little bit early on Thursday. I know one of the people who is, I see my buddy Daniel Will is here. So Daniel, on your bucket list, you got to come to Abbott's, man. It's awesome. But also, I've got Fred King, who's another one of the friends of the Magic Word, who's going to be coming to the TAOM. He was planning on going to the Ransom Center where they have the Houdini exhibit. Right. And Dr. Caleri was going to. Do you want to explain this?
Sure. Part of the collector's event for Texas Association Magician was going to be a tour through the Harry Ransom Center at University of Texas. But due to that stupid word COVID and the Delta variant, University of Texas has decided to close down all live tours and events on campus. So Dr. Collery is going to do a virtual tour for the collectors on Friday, September 3rd. Our collectors meeting begins at 9:30. Bill Winters, also from San Antonio, wonderful collector here. He's in Vegas. He's going to be speaking on Walter Gibson, who knew the titans of magic. It will include visual from Houdini himself. Then that'll be followed by the virtual tour of the Ransom Center. So can't be there. The best next thing will be virtual. And that'll happen at the Convention Hotel, the Marriott Hotel in Pflugerville.
And let me also point out, if you cannot attend the TAOM convention, this is available virtually.
The whole convention.
The whole convention.
And that's at TAOM.org.
And there'll be more information on that. So this way that you can attend the convention virtually if you can't attend physically because of some restrictions and travel and whatever else. Certainly we hope that you can make it. I'll be there doing the daily updates just as I'm doing here. I've already got a lot of content available that I'm going to be posting over the next couple of days. For those of you who are getting my pod letter, you know, of course, I didn't release a podcast this morning because I was coming here, but I'm going to be recording stuff tonight because it's only a short few hours. And then tomorrow we're going to be going to the David Copperfield Museum. So not a lot necessarily happening except for that, which is a lot.
A lot. We got a preview of that today.
Talk about that. Give me a little
Oh
shot
my
of that.
gosh. He bought the John Mullihan collection. How many years?
John Mulholland.
Yeah. How many years ago?
A long time ago.
A long,
2008, yeah.
2008. And then what was the other collection that he purchased that sat on from England? The other collection that Copperfield purchased?
Was that the Houdini?
It's like tons and tons of magic sat on pallets for 20 years, 23 years.
I'm going to call you cold. That was really
Yeah, Mike Caveney had given a little talk about the. Oh, we're playing here. Yeah, there we go again. Caveney gave a little background talk on the how this had come about the Copperfield Museum.
23 tons of magic that sat on wrapped pallets for 50 tons for 23 years, something like that. And during COVID, he unwrapped it all, cataloged it, and somebody from the Smithsonian said this was the nicest, most impressive private museum he'd ever seen. Oh, look who's here.
Russell Parks has just joined us. Hey,
Yes.
Russell.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
this
sitting
is a
down
no
so I
mask
can take my mask.
No mask.
Nothing risque. What's the subject?
whatever you'd like.
What?
But only after impressions. It's
Oh, I see. I see. Hello, everyone.
Oh, thank you. Michael Mayo just said he bought the Leslie Cole collection.
Cole, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Michael. That was, yes. Okay, so another question. I hand that to Gay for just a second, if you don't mind, Russ. This was a follow-up question. I have recently gotten into YouTube to watch Playboy After Dark or the Playboy Penthouse, which was the 1950s and the early 60s. And they had, they had Sammy Davis Jr. I mean, it was, you come upstairs in the penthouse and then you get to visit with Hugh Hefner and some of the Playmates. But then he said, okay, here's Sammy Davis Jr. and also here's Don Rickles and Bill Cosby. Have a drink over and play singer. They had Buddy Rich. I mean, it was just amazing people who he had. And I was watching it in the late 50s where they had Don Allen on the show. And I know that Harry Blackstone Jr. was one of the guests. Were you involved with that?
No, that was long before me.
Okay.
That was Harry without beard. And yet, so it was, I believe the time that Harry was doing it was probably the early 60s.
Yeah.
I met Harry in 1970 when Milt Larson hired me to work with Harry on an It's Magic show, because I didn't know him at that point. And
Milt knew you because of the television and your dancing with the gold diggers.
Yeah, and because of John Strum. John Strum was at NBC. I was working at NBC. I was like 16 years old, but because they didn't ask my age, and I was a junior in college, so they assumed I was older and just looked young. Well, I think I did look young, but I was also young. John all the time drink at that point. I only drank in New Orleans when it was legal. So
age 14.
In New Orleans, if you could put your money up on the bar, they'd hand the drink down to you. So it all worked. But so Milt knew me, and then I had done some magic with his brother, with Bill Larson, on 2 different It's Magic shows, with Dale Salwick and Diana Zimmerman and Mike Caveney. So, I have pictures of these guys in tights. I lucked out because my dress fit me, because we had done a show called Alice Through the Looking Glass at NBC for a Thanksgiving special. So my dress fit. Yeah. And so this is one of the ones. But not knowing anything about magic, they'd say we need to do the sword. Card through sword, and we're going to attach it to someone's back and do it that way. And I would say, Gay can do that. Because, I later learned, so there were all sorts of things that we did. And I just, because I had no clue about any of it, I was just
went with it.
I was just, then the first time when I worked with Harry, the opening night, the bird cage broke and flew into the lighting area because it had footlights. And Connie Zuccardi was doing it with me, and she went, it broke. And of course, not knowing what it was, I looked down and went, what is that? I literally had no clue about any of it.
Yeah.
And then I was working with Nino, the mad Mexican magician, and we were doing a show for Milt in Santa Barbara, and Nino would say to me, dustpan, and I would go off stage, and Bev Bergeron would have it ready and hand it to me, and I'd take it back out on stage, not knowing what I was going to do. And if people don't realize, foulard may be a magic word, but to the rest of us, it's a big silk. So all these different things that are magic terms that no one has any idea what they mean unless you're in the world of magic. Right. So I mean, it was a baptism by fire to learn to do some of those things. So I did have the good fortune because most of the costumes they got from NBC, and so the costume people knew me, and when I was going to be doing things with birds, they knew I was terrified with birds, so they gave me gloves. So I had these long gloves on while we were wearing these chicken costumes. And they were the same chicken costumes that were used on Lucille Ball at her show at one point. And for a comedy piece, they were okay. For people trying to look sexy, they just not so much at all. And then I would cringe every time the bird would come near me. And the arms were up in the air to catch it, but it would be, So Harry later very quickly learned that, I'm not a bird person. I think you're beautiful. I love seeing them. Just don't come near me. And yes, there are many things that I appreciate from afar.
Steve Daly just says, Gay Blackstone, a magic living legend. Right there. How about that? And
that's very sweet.
Phil
Thank
Mann
you.
said, she must do a book. So many great stories.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
Are you leaving?
No.
Hey, when you go that way, tell the waitress we're going to the round here.
I will do that.
Okay, thank
Do
you.
you want to say, are you going to say at least goodbye? Hello, goodbye.
Thanks for coming. What are you looking forward to?
Goodbye, I'm having a good time.
Tell me about why you're at this convention. What is you're looking forward to seeing
I
or doing?
am here because I got a phone call from a friend of mine, a very good, dear friend of mine, Don McCoy, wonderful man, one of the original members of Magic Castle. And he told me he was coming here, and I said, oh my gosh, how do I get into this? And then because the world's kind of crazy right now, a few people dropped off, and Bill Smith said, hey, I heard you want to go. So here I am, and I am loving this. This is so great to see so many.
You don't know, Don. Also one of the people who has an incredible magic collection. He's very generous in sharing the vision for it. He has a
magic. Is he in LA or where's he?
No, he's Florida. So I've only seen pictures of it, but the pictures
Are you? Okay.
pictures are wonderful, and he's one of the most fun people to party with that I know. So, if you're a friend of Don's, I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, I am too.
Thank you, Russell, for stopping by.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, everybody.
Bartender. Yeah.
Bartender.
First things first. So tomorrow, Gay, I understand they're doing something for the Blackstone.
It's going to be kind of a fun. It's going to
Tell us
be
in here.
Okay. Stan Allen is going to do a Q&A, and Stan talked to me the other day, and he said, "You know what? I'm not going to even say anything. I'm just going to wait, and I'm just going to ask questions when we get there. I don't even want you to think of anything. I'm just going to ask them." So it's going to be Alan Bracken, who was with us for 10 or 12 years, Bill Smith, who was with us for 12 years. It was going to be Adele, but she's not going to be able to make it.
Unfortunately, Adele was not making it. Yeah.
Yes. And then also just coming and attending tomorrow are one of the guys who was one of the first people who worked with us when we weren't doing a bus and truck tour. We were doing a station wagon and sedan tour. And he drove the station wagon, and then his sister Letitia became one of the early wardrobe people, and she did the bus and truck, and she was there with Bill Smith and Jack Hart and all these people out on the road. So it's going to be fun and great story of everybody. And then after that, Bill has got a copy of the PBS special, and we're going to play parts of that.
That was the Blackstone special.
That was the Blackstone
I
PBS
that was a
special.
1 hour special.
No, it was a 2 hour
2
special.
hours. Okay.
Yes.
And that was from the Broadway show.
It was basically from the Broadway show, yes. So, yeah. So we're doing that. And so it will be, and I think we're going to be sitting there drinking red wine at that point.
So this is an afternoon event?
No, it's 7 to 10:30.
A.M.
AM?
No, 7.
Okay. Yeah. In the evening.
It starts at 7, and the first part is Q&A. There's a short break, and then after that, we'll show Bill will show the television special. And I was about to give away something that I just realized I can't give away. Okay, and there are going to be more surprises for people who attend. Let me just put it that. And so for all of you who are watching and are not able to attend,
You'll have to hear about it on the podcast.
Yes, we'll have to tell you about it later. But
it'll be on the podcast.
It's going to be a little gift that everyone gets. So
we have the gift of your time right now, which is so important.
All
the guests that are here. Harriet, I'm talking about you and Dick and Trixie and everybody. And Russell and Jeffrey and everybody. Is in here.
Well, you realize we're a very heavy Texas group on this side.
Oh my gosh, we really
that's true.
What?
Heavy on because Gay is from Texas. She's got family in Texas.
I know.
You got us in Texas.
I know.
We're your family, as you say. Yeah.
We're all fixing to be Texans.
It doesn't take much. We're very good about adopting.
Yeah.
Kirby Van Burch. Hey, Kirby, good to see you. Gene Protus, hello. Sorry you and Betty decided not to come, but it's been fun. We got a lot of people who are here. Trixie, you're getting out of the scene over here. Everybody wants to see you then also.
For Kirby, let me just say, Kirby, thank you so much. I appreciate the letter. I just got it a few weeks ago. It kind of apparently went other directions, but I just got it. So thank you so much.
There you go. And Jeff Case, hey, good to see you, good buddy as well. And so, Cameron, what's the Prime Rib Loft is open? It was Johnny Thompson's favorite meal. He might have been pulling my leg. I don't know. The Prime Rib Loft. Yeah, that is.
Oh, that's upstairs.
It is upstairs.
Are they're closed?
Well, it was closed temporarily yesterday. It could, but that was Wednesday.
They just open on weekends. Could be.
I went up there with Brian Brushwood one year, and that was awesome. And CJ.
From there. That's where we ate last night. Valley or something. They have the Valley.
There you go. So, Dick, let me ask you then also, what is it about this convention that you wanted to attend, aside from, coming and seeing friends and, coming back home in a way?
Well, this is the first chance that I got to go to the Magic Collectors Convention. Been wanting to go for years, but either the timing or I couldn't get in. So the fact that I was able to get in this year, and then the coup de grace, or however you say that, was getting to see the David Copperfield museum and warehouse. To me, that's the end of all. That's the highlight of my life, I guess. So it's yes.
Did you? No. Tell about that.
Yeah.
You did. What did you say?
I didn't get to, but
Trixie, you got to talk to.
Yeah.
Well, you said hello, and he said hello back.
Yeah, we had a little conversation.
What did he say? It's private. Okay, that's fine.
So,
Very
wonderful
cool.
time. Wonderful
Very
time.
cool.
Getting back to Las Vegas.
Now, BJW Jewelers, let me just ask you, because you guys are dealers here then also. Have you got some other conventions where you're going to be showing, and what kind of new jewelry have you guys got?
Oh, we've got lots of new jewelry.
And purses.
Oh, you got purses? Wait a minute, you got purses now? You added a new line?
Oh yeah, we have magnificent, magical purses, evening purses. They're incredible. Where all are we going to be showing, Harriet?
Here we go.
Well, the next time we're going to Magi Fest in Columbus. We'll be showing there. I don't think we're in the dealer's room at TAOM.
Oh.
I don't think we're in the dealer's room at TAOM.
You're bringing some stuff with you, though.
I have the stuff with me, but I don't think you can sell if you're not in the dealer's
Just
room.
wear lots of jewelry and sell.
You know, they've got an unusual thing this year. They were talking about last evening, where they're actually selling. They have an empty table. They are selling by the hour.
Well, I might be selling by an hour.
It's like $20 an hour. You can rent
We
the table.
were in England, and I sold a gold M ring off of Gay's hand.
Off your head. That's why you're not wearing one now.
No, it was years ago.
But what happened was at that point, she had someone who wanted a gold earring. And she said, "What size is it?" And I said, "I don't remember." Took it off. It fit the person perfectly. They bought it.
I sold it.
Yeah, Harriet sold it. Now we
Your finger.
So, yes.
Because they were in England, and I have trouble shipping worldwide.
Yeah.
So
and you go pretty much by the price of whatever gold is.
yeah. So gold items are custom made, so I have to give you a price. And where else are we going to be? And probably SAM in January, and
That's kind of it. There are not a lot of conventions for the balance of the year. I mean, I'm going to be going to those. Plus, I'm going to the Tricks convention in North Carolina.
Yeah,
but that's for close-up guys, and so they don't have dealers.
Gonna...
That's just a close-up thing. Yeah. Do you find a lot of guys buy jewelry as well?
Oh yeah.
They the guys buy it for two different reasons. Either like we probably sell as many impossible bracelets to men,
and we have them in gold
as we do to women. And then if you just phrase it right, they also buy for guilt, and they buy guilt presents to take home.
Yeah,
So
I knew somebody
Guilt. That's funny.
you know, but I mean, you just say I know you're missing your wife. Don't you think you should take her something? And they go, oh, you know, our anniversary was this week, and I really kind of forgot it. It's like, so it's amazing, and we've learned what a lot of the wives like, and therefore, or they call us in advance, and we tell them any new things we have, or Christmas presents. They say, oh, I like the idea of, you send a couple of pictures. Okay, I like the jeweled bag on the right. So at that point, they can say, I know your wife really liked this for Christmas. And you just, because all we're doing at that point is helping. We are just little helpers.
How'd you get involved with that?
Tell how we got involved.
Okay, so 11 or 12 years ago now, or whatever.
I think it's 16.
All right, so more years than I'd like to count. We were at Abbott's, and anyone who knows me knows that I do not have a long attention span. It really is a problem with
somebody
me.
now.
Yeah. See the shiny object, and I'm there. Yeah. So we were having lunch at Robbie's, and Gene Anderson was there, and
thank you.
these other people. And Gene Anderson was making a trick with string, and I said, "Oh, gee, that's kind of fun." So I was playing with it, and in playing with it, I suddenly put it on to as a bracelet, and no. I was a vodka giblet. Excuse me, everyone. We're having had drinks. Okay. Anyway, so at that point, so I, literally I was there, and both Robbie and Jean looked at me and said, "What are you doing?" And I kind of went, like the child that's suddenly guilty. I was just playing with the string, and they both said, "But you have it on as a bracelet." And I said, "Mm-hmm." So am I going to go stand in the corner now? And it was one of those, we really just realized that Robbie, who was very creative and very clever, said, "Wow, that's really clever." And then it was when conversations that came up with the fact of, we bet we could do this with silver chain and do that same trick, not calling it a trick, but call it. And that's how the impossible bracelet was born. I know. So, and it's been one of our standards, and nobody else makes it. So
can you show it or take it off?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
You mind coming around here so you can kind of, you don't mind?
All right.
Have a little demo of this.
If I stand up,
Yeah. Sure.
Just see that. Like where the camera is. Okay, well, I need both hands.
No, I hold it.
Okay, all right, so that you see there's no fastener, anything else, and you just roll it off. And roll it off at that point, then you can say to someone, "Here, you can put it on." I'll hold it.
So,
all right,
yeah.
He opened it. That's very rare. Most people don't. Hold this for a second.
Okay.
What typically happens, or if you put it down on the table, you put it down like that, and people pick it up. So they take it, and they're doing this, and they do this, and then it's like
too
this,
small, yeah.
And it's too small. So and we custom make them, so we size people's hands, and so it really is. I mean, most magicians can get it, not all magicians. And this sort of thing. So it is. And so it's just a piece of jewelry that you wear, and yet at all times you have on a magic trick. So if someone says, "Oh, yeah, you're doing magic, do something." So it's like Michael Finney wears his all the time. As you said, it's the easiest thing because he never has to worry about it. Doesn't even have to have a deck of cards. Or what's fun is you do this, lay it on the table. People play with it on the table, and then at that point, you then just pick it up as you're leaving, and you put it back on.
And they go, "What?"
And they go, "Wait, how did you do that?" And magic.
Yeah.
Because I'll oftentimes say, well, as far as I'm concerned, there's magic in everything. There's magic in a flower. There's magic in a computer. Why? Jewelry is magic. And do the bracelet at that point. So, yeah.
I noticed you also had a little bit of your Texan. You came in, we said time.
Well,
you said time is time.
Because I've had a drink. My parents spent thousands of dollars to get that. My parents spent thousands of dollars to get that Texas
out of you.
However, all it takes is a conversation with another Texan or a drink.
Here we go.
And yeah.
You got it all going here.
And at that point, then it's back. I talk to my family, and it's as if I've never left. So,
yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Luke Dancy. Cheers, buddy, to you also over there. And David Teeman. Yep, it looks like we do have a good table full of people. Josh, hey, yo to you also. Listen, Harriet.
So also the bracelet at that same lunch, Mary Laughlin had given me a silver earring. And I think Robbie and you saw my ring. You both wanted the ring. And so we decided we'd go into business. And so it began. And I had never had any retail business. And we drew up LLC papers and had to look for different.
And then Robbie passed this past
Robbie
year.
Unfortunately passed recently.
That's Robbie Wilmarth, by the way.
Right. We were a low budget production. I bought the logbook that has all the contracts and forms in it.
Right.
Found the one for the LLC.
Right.
Filled it out and sent it to them each to sign, and then to send it back to Harriet so it could get registered at that point. But yes, so I played legal on it also. And
So you're the attorney of the group.
I'm the attorney of record.
And I know Harriet is the treasurer.
Yes.
Right. Oh no. I don't do treasury. recording secretary or financial secretary. I've done all other jobs, but not those. Anyhow, it's been an interesting and a fabulous journey.
So tell me,
been
why,
incredible.
aside from being and dealing here, why did you come to the convention? What are you looking forward to seeing and doing?
Well, I don't know a lot about magic history, and so when Gay wanted to go to collectors conventions, and so we went to. I followed her, and we sold in the dealer's room. But it's interesting to me, from an historical background, to learn a little bit about who, what, why, when, where, and how.
Yes.
I was going to say, actually, it goes back. My mother and Michael, her husband, were very close.
Oh, I didn't know
And
that.
after Harry passed away, it's like, what was I going to do? So I was going to try going to some of the collectors because I wanted to learn about the magic that I had been performing for years. At that point, I could tell you every which way to put a leg or the human origami, how you fit. So at that point, though, I wanted to learn. And Harriet we'd gone to collectors when possible, but not all that often. So I wanted to start doing more of these. And my mother said to Michael, I'm not sure about her traveling by herself. It's not that she's not capable. I just worry. And so Michael said, well, then Harriet will be with her. So then no matter where we went, Harriet would go along, even when we took a vacation. And Michael had said to Harriet, do not go ziplining. And I said, I'm going ziplining. And Harriet's saying, I have to go ziplining.
No. I promised him.
Oh, she promised.
That you wouldn't.
Him that I wouldn't go ziplining. So I never lied. But we got to the hotel, and the next day Gay said, we're going ziplining. And when I got home, I had to tell him.
Yeah, but it was just, it was still, but I mean, I will never forget the first time Harriet was meeting me, and and I loved it. She said, that was it. I was meeting, yes, that was it. So, yeah, so I met Harriet at the gate. So we were kind of taking care of each other and figuring out all this together. And then there was some of the great people in the magic world. The first night we were taken, I was doing a curtain, so I was doing a 501c3 donation to, I guess it was the IBM. But some of the guys said, oh, we're going to go out for some music. Oh, great, we love music.
I know.
Well, what I thought, and Harriet was going out for music, was not the same place that we were going.
It wasn't the Jim Rose Circus or anything, was it?
It was yes, it was
Remember when you and I did that?
It was Ab Dixon.
Ab Dixon, okay.
And so
But that's not music. Okay, go ahead.
You may have known that, but we didn't. So we went to this great club, and we had a good time.
Like a jazz club or something?
No, he was giving us dollar bills so that we could thank the performers. And little did I know.
He wasn't there. He was driving up the next day.
Yeah.
And Jerry Snepp was president. And I'm coming out of the hotel to meet Michael. And before I could talk to him and tell him, Jerry said to Michael, do you know where your wife was last night?
Oh boy,
Putting dollar bills in people.
And people, they were gorgeous.
Yeah, the dancers.
And the dancers. Anyhow, it was, and I remember once we were at a convention, an IBM convention, and Ab came down in the elevator, and the elevator opened, and there was a shower curtain, and he had a shower thing on his head
in the
elevator. Do you remember that? Ab came down, and
Ab came down with a shower
elevator,
cap.
and there was a shower curtain, and he had a shower.
Yes, but the other thing is, the one thing that I will take away from that evening of great music was the fact that I did not realize that Harriet knew every word of all the country songs. She sang along with.
I don't know. I like country
music.
Oh, you're going to like Vernon, Texas.
It has some barbecue too, you know.
Because it tells a story.
I hope as you're listening to all this, you guys are enjoying your third or fourth martini right about now also.
But it's really all my mother's. It was really all my mother's fault because she said to Michael, I think we should, I just want to make sure that Gay is okay. So that was it. And and she thought Ab would be fine. And
He was safe.
Yeah, my mother was a very trusting soul. Yes.
And she was in Dallas, right?
Yeah, she was. Yes.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're about to wrap up the happy hour over here. I hope you guys have been enjoying, been happy as you can see that we have been here then also. Yeah, John Keever, looks like we are having a blast. Indeed we are. Wish you guys could join us over here in Las Vegas. Be sure to listen to the Magic Word podcast. There wasn't anything released this morning. There will be probably later tomorrow night or early Saturday morning, which will be an update on what's going on today and tomorrow and some conversations with some folks. And I know you'll enjoy that as well as seeing some of the photos of people we've talked to. It's going to be fun. Again, tomorrow is going to be the David Copperfield Museum. There are a lot of restrictions, so I'm not going to be recording anything in the museum, but we'll talk to people who have been experiencing the thing to kind of get their feedback and their take of what the place was like then as well. And anyhow, it's a lot of fun, and I'm glad that you could be with us over here then this evening. We've enjoyed being with you, and let me see if I can take us out over here with one of the videos that we had used in the past, and I think it would probably be appropriate to show this again of some of the people who have actually been with us over the last, well, when we were doing this on a regular basis. We were doing this on a see if I can get this over here just a second. Find the right one.
It is unique because I tell her about the magic stuff and the house stuff. She
that's when she told me one day. She said, "There's a problem downstairs. It's like there's like a 4-inch gap between the wall and the floor."
Yeah. I saw it.
All right. I think I've got it. Anyhow, thank you guys again very much for joining us over here this evening at the Orleans Casino and Hotel. Where you can see that's the sports book. I can kind of show you a little bit over there. That's the sports book. That's in case you've been here before, you kind of know where we are. That's where we are then right now. So I don't know. Next week we'll see. What am I going to be doing? I'm not going to be having this next week, I know, because I'm going to be back in Houston. The following week I'm going to be then in, is that right? Yeah, that's right. So next week I'm going to be releasing a podcast with Rick Thomas, which I know you will enjoy, which was interesting because he worked with cats, and we had a thing this evening. We were hearing from Paul Stone talking about his work, Siegfried and Roy and their work with cats and all that. And of course, Roy's accident and all that too we talked about this evening. Anyhow, we're going to be having some other things going on later this evening. I understand that Charles Green is going to be giving a lecture on Ionia. He's got a new book that is out. Dealer's room is full. We have 200 people who are here as part of the convention. Wish you could be here with us, but this is about the next best thing. As I said, next week join us on the podcast with Rick Thomas. The following Thursday, I'm going to try to do this again, maybe if I can. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do that because we're going to be at the Esther's Follies with Ray Anderson, so we might be able to do this a little bit early. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do that during dinner or not, but we shall see what we shall see. So until next week, I'm just going to leave you again with this little video that shows you some of the people, all the people who had been on the virtual happy hour over the last 58 weeks when we were doing this on a regular basis. I thank each one of you guys very much for tuning in tonight as a surprise. So, from Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Scotty out.